Hello, my name's Cameron, and I got 10th just this last weekend at the Santa Clara Regional playing Elfnote. So let's get into it. List is pretty standard for Elfnote stuff. It's always kind of the same. 3, 3, 3, and then I am playing 3 of the tuner, which I think is too good not to. You can combo with just 2, but the 3rd comes up so much you kind of always are gonna end up needing it, and if you're playing 2, then you don't have it. And then just 1 of the spell, 1 of the trap. And that's it for the Elfnote stuff. And then Power Patrons, I was on 3 Vidolium, 1 Ginaldo, 2 Terminus. The reason of 3 Vidolium over 2 Terminus is it's better to see this in combo with Elfnote cards, especially when you're playing 3 of the tuner, because having this just helps you push that much more through hand traps, because this card does a lot, probably a little too much, but hey, it's a pendulum. And then Terminus is broken, but also if you open multiple, it's very, very dead, whereas this is a better card to have like on follow-up if you get there. So that's why you play 3 of this over 3 of this. Yeah, and then just the 1 Medius. And that's it for engine. And then non-engine, you play 3 Ash. I played 2 Bell, 2 Ogre, 2 Veiler for hand traps. I just like 2 over maxing out on like either one of these and not playing the other, because you're gonna be drawing a lot of cards in the combo, so like drawing into multiples of a hand trap really sucks. If you wanted to, you could even play 3 Veiler because it's not once per turn, but just 2 of these is good. And then Ash, because you can Ash a Charmy, and that's broken. But you can kind of play through Charmies and make half boards pretty easily with this deck. So, and then I also played 3 Fuith, 2 Perulia. This deck struggles going second, so having increased chance that you see a Charmy and like put them on a half board is really good. Or if you like, a lot of times if you pair 1 of each, it's even better. And this deck, while it's bad going second through a half board, your opponents a lot of times are just scared of your engine, because you can like make Black Rose or kind of turbo into a Crystal Wing really easily. So if you hit them with a Charmy and then draw into engine, maybe a hand trap, put them on more of a half board, and you have enough engine to just push through, that a lot of times is enough. So yeah, so I opted to play more Charmies than not. And then for the rest of the non-engine, I also played 2 Fallen and the Virtuous, a Called By, and a Talents. You'll notice no Harmonia. That card's a lot of money. So I just said I'll play Fallen and the Virtuous and have discount Harmonia. Not a hand trap, but really good going first. And then even if you're going second, like in a game 1, it can be good into certain decks. It can be nice to have, replaces itself. But kind of just, yeah, it would definitely be Harmonia, but that card's $90 and this is $8. So that is it for the main deck. 40 cards. Main deck performed really well. Yeah, really happy with that. For extra deck, I played the 1 Hyper Librarian. Kind of the reason why you play 2 ofs of the hand traps. You're going to be drawing like 6 cards at the end of your combo with this plus the Ginaldo. This card's just broken. By the time, like if you make this with Medius, that's a board that's a lot weaker to get hand trapped. So you kind of have to be careful if you're going through a Medius line to make this. But you can also just make it with Strelitzia by reducing its level and then using the tuner in it. Because at that point, if you haven't been hand trapped, either your opponent's bad and they don't know you're going to make Crystal Wing, or they have to hand trap you because they know you're going to make Crystal Wing. So if they don't, then you can just reduce, make Hyper Librarian, and draw more cards. So Hyper Librarian is really good. Every time I made it, it was just like auto win. I just drew like 3 non-engine to back up the board. Then you play Dawn Dragster, generic Spell Trap Negate. Black Rose is another level 7 for going second. It can be chain blocked with the tuner, so that's really nasty. Really good card. Played Shooting Riser as another like end board piece. I liked this. I was on the Axel Synchro Stardust package for the longest time, and I really liked that as like a end board under Fua. It's really good for like one draw, still end on like interaction. And then kind of last minute changed it to this and didn't miss the Axel Synchro Stardust stuff like one bit. This is just so much easier. Sometimes the Axel Synchro Stardust stuff, you don't have great things to synchro into, but with this, reducing its level, it makes it so easy to go into the rest of your extra deck, especially if you end on like a Hyper Librarian with this. Already, you can just make one of the next cards, which is Omega. And that Omega should probably be banned. So like your opponent is pushing into you, trying to trade stuff, and you're just left with these two, and you can just synchro to Omega, rip one of their last cards, and usually that's game. And then also, yeah, Crystal Wing. This card also is a problem, but the deck kind of needs it. Crocodragon is sometimes a good thing to synchro into off of Shooting Riser. With any Elfnote name, you can make this. I also, several times during the tournament, just had an Elfnote name, got negated for the search, like a Lucina, negated search, didn't have any other names, normal summoned a hand trap, made Croc, drew into like a Welcome Home, and then had combo. So that is something that happens. June Pride. This card's also super, super broken. Because you can start comboing and make a Crystal Wing, and then it's weak to a lot of hand traps. So like turn 0, it can be not so good, which that definitely happened during the tournament. But if you get started comboing, it just adds so much going first. Because by the time you go into it, you definitely shouldn't go into this as like your first or second synchro. You want to like go into a Strelitzia, try and get to a Crystal Wing. Because then after that, you know they're not going to stop this. And then for the last couple synchros, the Chaos Angel, this card's just really good. Ruddy Rose, really like this card. Good against Branded, good against Sky Striker. Quick synchroed into it off of Shooting Riser against Sky Striker and banished their whole graveyard. And even though kind of cooked myself by banishing my whole graveyard, it didn't matter because they had no follow-up, and that was just game. And then Genora, this card is very, very good. You should be playing it. It is what gives your deck a chance going second, because if you resolve this, you're like back in the game. And then Pep, didn't make it once, but if you can, it's kind of the same thing as like Chaos Angel. Can kind of just stall and poke, get big enough that you can just win. And then the 2 Harmonia targets, Albion and Albolendidus, not Ecclesia Synchro, because also that is a lot of money just for a Fawn and the Virtuous target. So I just played Albolendidus, in case you play Brandon, they leave Albaz on board. But I didn't play against Brandon, so yeah. That is it for the extra deck. Wanted to make room for a Quibelt, but with the space was just a little tight with the Fawn and the Virtuous targets, so that is that. And then for the side deck, played 3 Evenly, 2 Lava Golem, as kind of the only breakers. Evenly was good when I saw it. I was able to evenly half-board Sky Striker, where they left like they had 0 in like 2 sets, and then kept the 0 and I had Ash. So yeah, I was unfortunate for that guy, but that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes. Lava Golem wasn't that great, but it is kind of needed against some of the decks of the format. Same with Droll. This is probably the one change I'd make to the side, is Droll didn't really perform that well. When I saw it, it can make things kind of awkward. Yes, it's a floodgate, and I often cited it in going first, but that also kind of turns off your follow-up with like Regina, quick syncing into June Pride, searching off the tuner. You're usually resolving this first, and that kind of makes things awkward if it gets back to your turn. And they have any sort of like half board kind of situation going, you don't really have good follow-up. So I probably changed that, if anything. And then I played 3 DD Crow, also last minute change over Psy-Frames. For like, again, Striker branded, Rolad, this is also good. I never really saw it, so can't really say how that goes, but shout out Trevor, he told me to put these in last minute, and I just love DD Crow, so it went in. And then the 3rd copy of Perulia. And then for going first cards, you played the Shooting Riser targets, you played Medora and Snow, just because the matchups this doesn't cover. Snow's pretty good against, but oftentimes siding this in. And then 1 of Judgment and the 2nd Welcome Home. 2nd Welcome Home was really nice. I preferred it over like another like super strong, like another Solemn or something. Going first, if it ever came back to your turn, or even just at the start of your first turn, opening this with Tinia always sucks, but opening this with Tinia when you have a 2nd one doesn't feel so bad. And also just opening this, a lot of times they'll trade with Elfnote names, and then not expecting just an activate Welcome Home, send a hand trap, and then that's full combo. So that was also really good. Yeah, so just super happy with the placement. Did not expect to do so well at the tournament, but happy with my performance. I feel like I played well. Shout outs to the 707 squad and all the guys I tested for the regional with, staying up the night before, Brennan, Ian, Trevor. Shout outs to my girlfriend too for letting me spend an entire day playing a card game. That's pretty awesome. So yeah, just super grateful.